Right, hiya, welcome to the Cactus Cave. This video, I don't know, it might become a video. I'm just filming it anyway. It's probably going to be made up in sort of lots of little parts. It's basically a bit of a revamp on the Bonneville. Nothing too major, just I guess I get bored easily. You know, I've flitted on and off with bars over the past sort of 12 months, but for the most part the bike has stayed with that kind of, I guess you'd call it more of a cafe racer vibe to it. And I think I'm just getting a little bit not bored. I love it the way it is, but I just want to change, I think. So I've had lots of little ideas of different things that I'd like to try and just tweak and change to it, and I might just, as I go along, this is kind of being filmed in between bits in the SR250, so as I go along I'll probably just film the odd thing as I change it. If it all goes to plan, I'll cobble all this together into a big video, which is what you'll be watching now. If it doesn't really work, I'll throw all this away and you'll be none the wiser. But I'll show you the kind of ideas I've got going at the moment. Start with the bars and stuff. Right, these I'm vibing on getting back into flat bars again. I know I've said this 100 times, and I always seem to change back, but you know, I do really want to go into more of a flat bar kind of territory. So been digging through all my bits and bobs. I've got a set here of, I believe they are the LSL Street Bar Low. They're a very low bar, very flat bar, little bit of pullback on them, but a very nice comfy bar. And I've also got the whatever you want to call them, Beston GT grips, bit more of a vintage style grip on there. Very nice comfortable grip that. So I think they're going to be going on. That is a stock, or the stock SE magwheel mudguard, which I've begun to cut down. I possibly had some video of me going about cutting it down, but I think it kind of got lost in the phone change over times. It's not there yet. I'm just doing it little by little. It's kind of definitely definitely getting there. It's, yeah, I'm gonna have that kind of short point at the front, a bit more of material left on the back there, just to aid with throwing up all crap onto the front of the bike and my face. I think it's about the right kind of size lengthwise. I still want to go an awful lot narrower on the actual guard itself, probably as close to the mounting holes as I can get away with. So that's going to need a little bit more shaping, as that's kind of roughly cut into where I want it, and then it'll obviously need a bit of a respray. This was originally a white mudguard. If it was a black one, I could, as far as I know, the plastic kind of is the same colour all the way through, so it would have been probably a bit easier. I might have even got away with having to respray it, but we'll see. So yeah, so mudguard and bars. The bike itself, what's staying, what's going. The seat's definitely staying. It's, you know, I'll get on with it. It's, yeah, sure, a gel seat would have been even more comfortable, but I've put the Thruxton gel seat I've got back on there, and I'm probably used to this now, but that thing looks massive, almost too huge. So this one's going to stay, and it's a little bit more bespoke, I suppose. You know, it's not an off-the-shelf part, which is kind of quite nice. Pipes are staying. The wrap, this is now, God, it's got to be probably almost 2 years old. and you know it's held up pretty good. I've given it, since it went on, it's had one kind of in situ coat of flat black, just to, I mean, you can see where it's at the hottest point. It does fade to this white. You know, wrap is a love it or hate it kind of a thing, isn't it? Some people really just don't like the look of it. I do like the look of it. This, I think, is starting to get just beyond what I'm happy with. It's you know, the old, I ended up having to put a Jubilee clip on there, which is getting a bit manked up and corroded. The wrap is looking faded and dirty, so that's probably going to come off. I think that'll be the winter time, and I've not yet decided whether or not I'm just going to re-wrap it or spray it up, spray the whole of the downpipe up so it matches in with the Predator, so it's a much, you know, cleaner look to it. I'm not entirely sure, so we'll wait and see. That's not going to happen yet because I'm still obviously using the bike pretty much every day, so I can't afford to take it off the road for any length of time because it's my only source of transport. But I'm also interested to see what kind of state the downpipes are underneath it. These were a set that I got off eBay when I first decided to wrap the pipes. They were like 15 quid, I think. And my stock pipes are really nice. They had just that nice bit of blue in on there, but they were in good nick. These were cheap, a little bit, you know, weather beaten. So I thought, let's see what happens when you wrap a pipe. And so I'm kind of interested to see what it looks like underneath there. But yeah, that's on the books. The rear sets, I think they're going to go. I've tried it with the flat bars and the rear sets, and I'm just not overly keen on the riding position. It's a shame because I actually really love the rear sets. I think they look really nice. They're obviously not stock. They look pretty cool. But for me, my personal taste, they just don't work with the flat bars. I might try and utilise the peg and get rid of the big chunky pegs that are on the stock mid sets. I'm not sure, they're quite a bit shorter because obviously you've got this distance made up as well, so they're not as long as the stock peg, and I've got size 10 feet, so I like to have a bit of a substantial peg. So, but we'll see. Yeah, obviously the bars are going to change. The clocks are going to change. I've actually got on order a mini speedo. Thanks to Greg for hooking me up with that. We were emailing back and forth, and he picked one up. I've been looking at stuff like the motor gadget things, but you know, I can't justify spending like 300 quid on a speedo, as trick as they look. And to be honest, on a retro looking bike, I think they look a little bit high tech. I mean, you can go quite high tech looking with these, you know, a bit of a mix of both styles. But I'd like something a bit more classic looking, you know, a bit more old school cool. So it's just literally your kind of standard mini speedometer. It's a black one. This is quite nice. It's like $80 or something like that. It's flat black, satin black, sorry. Very small. It's got all the idiot lights in the face of the dial. You've probably seen the sort of one that's out there. What I liked about that one is that the guys doing it also sells a mounting plate here, so you don't just go with the usual clamp onto a handlebar kind of a job. It looks a bit more trick, and so it comes with a mounting bracket. It has the idiot lights, and also he has wired it with OEM connectors, so it literally is a plug in and play thing, which is great. I haven't got to hack anything up. So yep, that's coming. So that will be hopefully here, I'm kind of hoping in the next week or so. So that will be going on. I'm humming and hawing. I love this headlight. I like the brackets, but I was wondering maybe about a bottom mount headlight. If that does happen, I've relocated, you might remember from other videos, a fair bit of the wiring under the tank, because if you've ever opened up one of these, I mean, this is a 6-inch headlight, I think, which is about an inch smaller than the stock headlight. And the stock headlight, it's as
it's a cram to get all the wiring in. This was a bit more, even more of a pain, so I've had to move some of the wiring stuff. If I go for a, like, you know, 4.5, 5 inch bottom mount headlight, then, you know, you're going to literally have enough room to get the plug in for the bulb, and that's it. But again, this is all sort of slow and steady as we go. What else can we say? Still humming and hawing. You know, I've always gone on about the side mount, trying to get. I've looked through various different ones, and as you know, because of where the pipe is here, I'm a little bit limited. I know British Customs do a nice kind of axle mounted side mount, but I think I'd struggle to get that in with where the Predator is. Same with their shock mount one, although I think that's out of stock at the moment, so I might end up making something up myself. The shocks might go, I don't know, depends what happens. These might go on the SR. I mean, this is, you literally are getting a video of my brain slowly trying to brainstorm things as I go along. So these might go. I'm not sure what I'll replace them with yet. So we shall see. Maybe that mudguard I've got might go on the back again. Who knows? Who knows? So yeah, lots of bits of food for thought. But the first job I'm going to do is I'm going to whip the tank off. I just want to have another look to see what I can do in terms of wiring, how much more I can move under the tank anyway and clean things up. And as I'm swapping over bars and stuff like that as well, if you don't cover the tank, it's might as well just move it. Yeah, well, let's get cracking and see what the first sort of round of bits look like. Right, so about 40 minutes later, a little bit more slimmed down. So yeah, just still just working things out a little bit. I think that's where the extent of the wiring that's going to be left in the headlight bucket is going to be now. I could probably move a lot more, but what I don't want to end up doing, obviously got some connectors and stuff moved back here. I don't want a huge thick chunk of wiring going back on itself around the headstock where that's moving. That's kind of not too much bigger than the stock setup, so I'm happy with that. There's no strain on any of the wires. I am going to move the headlight back up a little bit, only because where I had it, the strain of the wires meant that I couldn't actually get my headlight dipped down enough. So at night it's kind of shining a bit up into the sky, so I've had to compromise a bit and come back up about ½ an inch or so, maybe a bit more, just so I can tilt the bucket down a little bit. But yeah, I guess start putting bits back on now, really. Yeah, start with the handlebars. Okay, bars are on now. Looking quite nice, quite mean actually. Nice stance on it. Quite a nice low flat bar. And what I'm hoping to do, I quite like these grips, closed end. I'm not too keen about putting bar ends on there, just because they're quite a wide bar. I like where they are, but I just feel anything there is going to just be a bit kind of, you know, look like a jumbo jet with massive wings or something. So what I'm hoping to do, because I do really like my little bar end mirrors, little Motrax ones, and they're unlike the Chinese kind of versions that are about now. These are actually really nice quality and pretty solid. They don't vibrate. Just get on with them. Sorry, jumping around here. The bar end weights that me and my mate made up on the lathe, there, obviously that bit is what slides in there, so it looks like that, nice and neat, just with a sort of reducer in there as well. There, 7/8 there. So the plan is be quite nice, because I've got a bit of a thing up my ass about mirrors. I don't like them too obtrusive. I wonder if I can get away sort of with mounting them somewhere there. once the controls are on. Let's have a little look-see, and obviously I have to check the clearance on the tank on full lock as well. But yeah, that's the next thing I'll have a little play with. And somewhat annoyingly, the answer is that ain't gonna work. Fits on there quite nice, but I don't get that's how far in it's got to be to clear the grip and the switch gear. And on full lock, when it's there, it doesn't touch the tank, but that's it with pretty much zero visibility. That's pushed back as far as it can get. So when I start moving it to the point of being able to actually use it like a mirror, whack, yeah, not even anywhere near full lock, and that's hitting. So never mind. I might get one of those sort of little mini range straight ones. Yeah, mirrors, that'll always be a bit of a pain. I could mount them upright, but don't think I like it. So back to the drawing board, but there you go, have a little bit of a on-board view of what it would be like. Very nice. Okay, right, crack on. It looks so nice as well when I've just got a clock about that big there, rather than the girt big stock one. Cool. Okay, so the bars are all pretty much buttoned up. I've spent a bit of time just really getting all the wiring and everything free and neat, so it's not all bunched up. I've had to sort of reroute throttle cables and adjust them and change clutch cables, just because when I had the clip-ons on, everything was much more sort of crushed up, and you know, obviously they were much lower, so that's nice. The headlight is got loads more free space in it now, so it's not as all crammed up. Yeah, the only downside is, for the time being, because I need to use the bike tomorrow, I'm going to have to put the huge clocks back on. But there we go, that's alright. It's not too much of a big drama to switch them out once the little one comes. But yeah, there we go. So I'm just gonna pop those clocks back on, put the headlight back on, the front of it on, and then get around taking off the rear sets. This isn't much of a problem. These are the Sato rear sets. They come with obviously the foot peg, the rear brake, different mounting plate, and then a bracket here which relocates where the rear brake switch is. So that goes kind of back down there like that. It's dropped a bit lower. You have to move that back behind there. But no, this side there's more bolts to undo. The other side is just literally the foot peg and then the gear lever off. So it's not a major issue. Can't remember if I've done this before. I'm going to take these pegs off and put them on instead of the girt big Triumph pegs. That's 95 millimeters, I think. So that's not ridiculously short when my feet are on it, but I'll have a little eyeball of that when it's all together. Because obviously they haven't got the little dog leg in them either, so I'll see if that makes much of a difference. But yeah, cool. There we go. Yeah, I'll just pop those big ugly clocks back on for now. This can definitely save my back and my wrists a little bit.
Right, okay. The first part of the video was filmed yesterday. So today I've nipped into Cambridge and been to McKay's, my local kind of metal and tool place, which is brilliant. That's sorted me out for a few bits of the SR250. But riding the bike now with the flat bars and the mid controls on again, it's a lot of fun actually. I don't know, just being a bit more upright. I'm actually chucking it around a bit more, and I don't know, maybe it's just a bit of a change, but I'm enjoying it. It's always a bit weird because I guess I've always kind of thought the clip-ons and rear sets look a bit more mean with it, but I'm not actually too bothered with it at the moment. I think it looks equally as cool with the flat bars and stuff on. The big clocks are back on, obviously, for the moment, and I'm looking forward to getting the smaller clocks, but that's going to be about another week yet. I still definitely need to sort the mirrors out because I've just been riding it without mirrors at the moment, and I really don't like riding without mirrors actually. It's quite bizarre if you want to try it. Not particularly safe, I guess, but it's very unnerving not knowing what's right behind you just at a quick glance as well. So there's plenty of lifesavers going on. Anyway, so while I was at McKay's, I bought myself a big roll of I think this is M80 or M60 sandpaper sheet, and my plan for that is going to have a little look at the mudguard now, and I want to kind of try and get it really straight, lose about got about half a centimetre before we hit the kind of mounting holes there, so I want to get it kind of narrower to this kind of width, as narrow as I can, and straight as well. And my scroll saws that died a death a while back, so I'm going to try, this is quite abrasive, so I'm going to kind of just staple a sheet of that to the workbench, and so I can get it dead level and straight, put that on it and just keep sanding it down until I get the required shape. So I'll set up and get rocking and rolling with that.
Right, who knows if this is actually going to work, but we'll give it a shot. So I'll put that on a nice flat surface on the workbench, staple each end down so it doesn't move, and then start getting rid of some of the excess plastic on that. So that's it with the mudguard on there. Also a bit of a view with the bars. Those clocks, just like, because I've had to bring them back up on top again, that looks absolutely massive, so just ignore that bit. But here's the mudguard test fit. Seems to stand a little high, but that's just the way it, I mean, I could, I suppose, mount it underneath the bracket and get it a bit closer, but I think that'd be very, very close. But I think width-wise, I think we're okay. I need to work on that radius, get that, ignore that. I'm actually thinking about coming back a touch more. And yeah, I think the distance at the back's okay. I mean, don't want to take too much off, otherwise it negates the point of even having it, doesn't it? But yeah, it's a little bit annoying. But, it's a work in progress. But actually, as you step away, I don't think that looks too bad. So yeah, I don't think I'm going to take any more off the sides. I mean, that's the, or maybe a tiny, just it's just slightly narrower than the width of the wheel. Let me just quickly get that other one and have a look. Put it there. you see that, or is that, is the light not quite right? Yeah. You bastard. It's still a fair bit smaller, isn't it? But it's more, I quite like the recessed mounting holes there. Don't want to go an awful lot thinner. Yeah, I shall just turn off now and have a little bit more of a think and a beard stroke. Right, you join me back. I've spent a bit more time on the front mudguard. I decided it could still have a bit of meat taken off it, so I've taken about just under an inch off the front and about an inch off the back. So that's done now. I like it. I'm happy with it. That's where I wanted it. So that can just really now come off, get keyed up, and I can give it a paint. The old white skunk stripe's pretty cool, but obviously in the radiusing process it's a bit scuffed and mauling it around. You know, it needs paint now. But yeah, it took a while to get that radius right. I'm just eyeballing it now to make sure I'm happy with it, but yeah, I am. So it's a bit more snubby, I don't know, at the front, and I've squared it off a tiny bit more at the back. But yeah, so that's done. I'm happy with that. What else? I've been riding it for a few days, and I've got to say I'm loving this riding position. It's really good fun. I have got to decide on what mirrors to go for. So I'm reluctant to go with bar end mirrors. Again, I think it's because this is all about me having something completely, you know, a whole different feel to it, and it just feels too wide with the bar end mirrors on. I also, the old piss cup, the urine sample bottle, was starting to annoy me a little bit, so I might start looking around for a little sort of black one that can mount directly there, get rid of all this excess junk on here. I mean, I really like, you know, it's nice the all enclosed one really, so whether there's an old Jap bike one that I can retrofit on, possibly. Again, all these little things that are whirring around in my head. The clocks are really doing my nutting. That kind of spoils, in my view, the profile of the bike, so they'll be going. And the foot pegs, I did try the rear set ones, but they just didn't work out. They didn't look right with this gear, and they were still a bit too small really for what I was comfortable with. So I've seen some, what are they called? Terrazzi? I can't remember what they're called now. I've seen some that I quite like, so they're, you know, in the old favourites pile as a possibility. But I shall probably wrap up this part of the video now, because I'm not entirely sure how long this is going to be, and so it might end up being sort of a couple of parts perhaps. But that's it for this one. So that's, yeah, the first Bonneville makeover video done, and yeah, hopefully the next one will be installing the mini speedo, which I'm really excited about, and I'll keep scratching my head for mirrors, and some spraying possibly, who knows. Yes, lots of things to go on for, but as I say, this is just kind of like a little interim in between kind of downtime on the SR. Well, not that it's downtime, forced downtime in terms of being able to get on with stuff, keeping myself busy. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. Stay tuned, and I'll see you either on the next Bonnie video or the next SR video. Cheers. Not quite over yet. I figured I've got the time. I've cleaned it all up. I've sanded it all real smooth on the top and given it the first tack coat of black. So let's end on that as instead. So this is the mudguard now with just a tack coat of black. I'm using, this time, use what you got, plastic bumper paint, so it's like a flexible paint, and yeah, it seems to go on very nicely. Even with the tack coat, that's quite a nice finish, so a few layers of that, and I think that would be quite nice. So there we go. That really is the end now, and yeah, catch you next time.